In the heart of America, where the hum of big rigs is as familiar as the stars in the night sky, 5 women, bodybuilders by passion and truckers by profession, set out to break boundaries and redefine what strength really means. Their names were Emily, Jessica, Sarah, Olivia, and Michelle, each a powerhouse in her own right, not only lifting weights, but also the weight of societal expectations. The 5 friends who met at a local gym years ago had forged an unbreakable bond. They all shared a love for lifting and an unrelenting desire to prove themselves in a world that often doubted them. But it wasn't just the gym that kept them connected. It was a shared dream to one day drive across America together, to create something of their own and show that women could dominate any industry, no matter how tough it seemed. One evening, while lifting together at their favorite gym in a small town in Nevada, the 5 women gathered around a bench, their muscles taut and their spirits high. Emily, the oldest of the group, was the first to speak up. "You know," she said, wiping sweat from her brow, "I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Why not take all our skills, our strength, our grit, and use it to start a trucking company? We could work as drivers, take over the railroad, and show the world what we're made of." The idea was bold, almost reckless, but it felt right. After all, these were women who lifted hundreds of pounds in the gym, who faced daily challenges to their worth and strength. And if there was one thing they were used to, it was proving the doubters wrong. Jessica, a powerhouse with a fiery attitude, was the first to jump on board. "I love it. But we won't just be drivers, we'll be the best damn drivers out there. We'll show them how it's done." Sarah, always the strategist of the group, pulled out a notebook from her bag. "Let's think this through," she said. "We'll need trucks, insurance, a route network, and a whole lot of guts. But we also have something that most others don't: our reputation." The women quickly got to work. Each of them had a different skill that added a unique strength to the group. Emily was the logistics mastermind. Jessica had a natural talent for sales and negotiations. Sarah, with her sharp mind for business, took charge of operations. Olivia, the most disciplined, handled the financials, and Michelle, the gentle but firm leader, kept the group grounded. The journey to creating their trucking company wasn't without its challenges. At first, no one took them seriously. The men in the industry scoffed at the idea of a group of women, especially bodybuilders, making it in a world traditionally dominated by big, burly men. They laughed when they saw the 5 women arrive at truck auctions, dressed in their muscle shirts, with their arms as thick as tree trunks. "You think you can handle these rigs?" one of the old truckers sneered at them. "You'd be better off at the gym." But Emily and her friends didn't flinch. They knew the power of perseverance, and they had the muscle to back it up, both physical and mental. They went on to buy a few second-hand trucks, and after hours of training, repairs, and patience, they were ready to hit the road. Their company, Power on Wheels, was born. The road, however, was tougher than they could have ever anticipated. It wasn't just the miles or the weather, but the constant battle for respect. They faced countless instances of discrimination. At truck stops, men would openly question their abilities, laughing at the idea of women driving massive rigs across the country. Even at their own dispatch, some colleagues doubted their abilities, undermining their professionalism. But every time they were faced with skepticism, they used it as fuel. Emily, a powerhouse of determination, led by example. She took on the longest, hardest routes, proving not just that they could handle the trucks, but that they could do it better than anyone else. Jessica, with her charisma, negotiated contracts with some of the largest companies in the country. Olivia worked tirelessly behind the scenes to keep everything running smoothly, ensuring their business was profitable. And Sarah, ever the strategist, came up with new, innovative ways to streamline their operations, turning Power on Wheels into a lean, mean, freight-moving machine. Despite their success, the road to acceptance was far from smooth. One night, while pulling into a remote truck stop in Arkansas, the women were met with hostility. a group of male drivers began to harass them, calling them names and making crude remarks. The women didn't back down. They stood tall, their muscles rippling as they approached the men. "You got a problem?" Jessica asked, her voice calm but laced with danger. One of the men, who had been the most vocal, sneered and said, "Yeah, I got a problem. Women like you don't belong behind the wheel. Why don't you go back to the gym and lift weights like the pretty little things you are?" But before he could finish his sentence, Emily stepped forward. "We're not here for your approval," she said, her voice steady. "We're here to take care of business. And right now, we're the ones who are going to make sure these roads stay safe." The confrontation didn't end in violence, but it did end with the men backing off. The women, undeterred, climbed into their trucks and drove off, their spirits unbroken. It was moments like these that made them stronger, that solidified their resolve to keep pushing forward, no matter the cost. Over time, Power on Wheels grew. The women's reputation as fierce, reliable, and highly skilled truckers spread across the country. They became known not only for their physical strength, but for their integrity, professionalism, and work ethic. They didn't just drive trucks, they redefined what it meant to be a trucker in America. But the real test came one fateful winter when a huge storm hit the Midwest. It was one of the worst blizzards in years, and roads were closed for days. Despite the weather, Power on Wheels had to make a crucial delivery. With the odds stacked against them, Emily, Jessica, Olivia, Michelle, and Sarah didn't hesitate. They all suited up in their winter gear, prepared for the impossible. It was a battle of endurance, not just with the snow and ice, but with each other's limitations. Emily took the lead, her years of experience making her the perfect navigator through the treacherous roads. Jessica was right behind her, constantly checking in with the others, ensuring no one was left behind. Sarah used her skills to keep the trucks in working order, while Olivia ensured they stayed within their budget and on schedule. Michelle, always the calm in the storm, kept their spirits up, reminding them that they had faced worse. The blizzard raged on, but they pushed through, delivering the goods on time. When they finally reached their destination, exhausted but triumphant, the truckers at the delivery dock were stunned. "We've never seen anything like this," one of the men said, shaking his head in disbelief. "You ladies, you really are something." That night, as they stood together, looking at their trucks parked side by side, the women realized that they had not just survived the storm, they had conquered it. They had taken a failing trucking business and turned it into a powerhouse of strength and resilience, earning the respect of even the harshest critics. And so, Power on Wheels was no longer just a name. It was a legacy of women who defied the odds, who stood tall in the face of adversity, and who, with their muscles and minds, took on the world, 1 mile at a time.